Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Castro and welcome to another video here on Jacob's Aquarium. So today is the big day. It's finally time to build aquascape and create this beautiful 80-gallon planet tank that is beside me that you guys cannot see because the camera is not panned over there. So let's go ahead and do that now. There it is. Okay, let's pan back over so that you can see me. There we go. Okay. Welcome everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope your tanks are doing well. And I just wanted to start the video and show you guys my little diagram here that I came up with for the new tank. So last night I set up my office chair right in front of my aquarium and I just stared at my tank for pretty much like an hour, and I really, this is such a big thing for me because this is like the most advanced, the most unique as far as aquascape goes tank that I've ever done. So it was quite a challenge for me to come up with this design, and also it's going to be a challenge just to do it, and I really am kind of nervous because I know you guys have some high expectations for this tank, and of course, people see me as Jacob's Aquarium, the guy on YouTube that makes videos and stuff, and I have a lot of followers, so I don't want to disappoint anybody, and I'm really nervous about how you guys will, or what you guys will think about the tank once it's done. So excuse me if I seem a little jittery in this video, but it's just a big thing, big moment for me and Jacob's Aquarium. It's history in the making because this is going to be a tank that'll be in a lot of videos and be up for a very long time. So. And it's the most unique tank I've ever done. So let's go over the diagram. So this is basically the tank right here, and the front is where my hand is right here. So you'll see that I have different outlines right here for where different things will be going. So we'll start out first in the corner, the back left-hand corner. We're going to put Myro Green in the back left-hand corner just because it's a really tall plant. And it's great for backgrounds as well because it's really bushy, and once it grows in, you pretty much can't see anything behind it. So, and I really hate using backgrounds, so I figured I would just put that plant in the background because it'll just mask the entire back of the tank, and I won't have to use some weird black paper or anything for the background or paint the tank, which I hate doing. So we're going to put Myro Green in the back right here. In front of the Myro Green, we're going to put Amania gracilis right here and Nasea golden on the other side right there. Those two plants I've never grown in a real planet tank, so I'm excited to use those plants. The Nasea golden is an absolutely beautiful plant, period, So I'm so excited to grow that one and grow it out to its full potential. And I think it'll look awesome once it grows to the full height of the tank. It's just going to look amazing, guys, Absolutely amazing. So in front of the Amania gracilis and Nasea golden, we're going to have some crypts right here. Crypt lutea, crypt ponderphilia in front of those plants. And then the last tier, I guess you can call it, we're going to have Anubias nana petite, dwarf baby tears, and Startogen repens as well, growing all in the front, all mixed together, okay? And then this line right here, separate is the border, I guess you could say, between EcoComplete and silica sand, because I am doing two different substrates in this tank. And I wanted to try this because I've seen so many tanks on YouTube, especially on Takashi Amano's YouTube channel, which I absolutely admire, where he has used two different substrates, and I just like the way it looks. It kind of looks, in my opinion, more natural, because in the wild you see that you'll see a huge congregation of plants, and then you'll see some white sand in front of that where nothing's growing. It looks really natural doing it that way because it's something in nature that actually does happen. And to mix it up a little bit, I thought I would do a little stack of rocks in the middle of the silica sand as like a little island, and I'm going to put some plants growing in there, some Riccia, maybe some Startogen repens as well, and that'll all grow in together and it'll make a little island of plants. I think that'll look pretty neat as well. So that's basically the tank, and that's my little diagram that I'll be following. And a huge announcement that I have for this new tank that I was going to put off. Well, I actually have already told our live stream audience that's watching us right now on YouTube. I am live streaming this whole thing, the whole tank build, so there's people watching right now, and I've already told them, hello everybody! We gotta wait for it to sync up because there's a delay. Hello everybody in the YouTube chat room. How's everybody doing? So yeah, as I said, we're streaming this live on YouTube, so there are people watching the the whole build process of the tank, or the whole build today. So we got some people in the chat room all saying hello. Hello everybody. Hopefully we don't get any profanity comments, which I'm pretty sure there will be. So, hey, you guys are all in the video right now. Hello, hello, hello. You're famous now. So they were the first to know, but but you guys will, I guess, be the second to know. The fish, as far as the fish in this tank, I'm gonna be using discus fish. Yay! I'm so excited. I chose discus fish because I had discus fish a long time ago. I love them, I absolutely did. However, where my tank was placed in my previous apartment was in a really high traffic area, and that wasn't a great area for a discus tank because discus fish are kind of skittish, and they really will tend to just hide, if there's people walking by constantly, and so it really didn't work out. But this tank is in my room, it's not a really high traffic area, except on Mondays and Tuesdays when I'm, grabbing plants and packaging plants, for my customers. But other than that, it's a very peaceful, quiet area. Of course, this is my bedroom. It should be that way. Peaceful, quiet, This is a place where I come to relax, get away from everything else going on out there, Yeah, it's a peaceful place and a great place for a discus tank. But yeah, that's the fish that we'll be using for this tank, discus fish. And the ones particular that I'm going to be putting in here is it's blue diamond or diamond blue discus or whatever, but blue diamond discus, whatever they're called, and checkerboard discus. I'm gonna try to put a few pigeon bloods in here, some Marlboros, not cigarettes, but they do have a discus fish called Marlboros or Marlboro, and a couple other discus fish that I'm currently looking at. I just don't know the names of. So, but yeah, we'll have discus fish in here. So it's gonna look so cool, so beautiful. I can't wait to put the fish in here. Of course, I'm gonna use some neon tetras to get the cycle going as well. Before we put the discus in there, and I'm going to be using some beneficial bacteria to get the whole process started. We'll be talking about those products later in the video. So that's basically it for the introduction. Let's go ahead and get started building the tank. This is a huge day for me, a big moment in time for Jacob's Aquarium, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and enjoy the tank build. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and let's get started. So being inspired by Takashi Amano's preparation of an aquascape, I first drew a line with a marker to indicate where the two substrates will be separated. This was very helpful as the line served as a great guide rather than just visualizing it in my mind. Since I'll be using pond pebbles to separate the two substrates, I started with the larger ones and placed them one at a time down the line. I then began stacking them on top of each other. These larger pebbles served as a great foundation for the much smaller pebbles that would be spread on top. After that, it was now time to add the substrates. I started with EcoComplete, carefully pouring it one large cup at a time. This, I would say, was the hardest part of the aquascape. I was so afraid I was going to mess up and accidentally spill some on the other side of the rock border, and if I did, that would be very time consuming to clean it up, so I was extra careful. By the way, I chose to use EcoComplete instead of ADA soil because looking around in my storage unit last week for some filter parts, I realized I had 4 large 5-gallon buckets of the stuff from my previous tanks. So I figured, why not? It would save me money on this build, and you know what, in my opinion, it's an equally good substrate. Once the EcoComplete was in, the aquascape really started to come together. I finally started to see what I had envisioned during its initial planning, and for sure, it was coming along as I expected. Next, I added the silica sand. I think this is a great cosmetic substrate to use, however, it's super dusty. It took a good 10 to 15 wash cycles of filling up a 5-gallon bucket, moving the sand around in it, and then pouring the dirty water out to get it clean enough for the tank. Other than that time-consuming preparation, it looked great. Once both substrates were in, I really just couldn't help but stare at how gorgeous the aquascape looked already. For me, since I've never attempted something like this, it was so exciting to see the final result. In the future, I will most likely implement 2 substrates in my tanks, just because I now realize how cool it looks, and most importantly, the amount of realism it adds to the aquascape. Now it was time to add the main part of the aquascape, the plants of course. I started by turning on my RO system and sprinkling water over the substrate to moisten it so that it would be much easier to push the plants into. Since it took a while for the RO system to pump water into the tank, I took the extra time I had to build what I like to call the island of the aquascape. I thought this would add an extra kick of realism to the scape because the sand wouldn't look so perfectly separated from the eco-complete. It would give the scape a look as if this little pile of rocks naturally formed. After pushing some pebbles into the sand for a solid foundation, I simply stacked some more pond pebbles on top of each other until I was satisfied. On this island, I will be planting Riccia, and once it grows out and covers the entire mound of pebbles, it will look pretty much just like a big bush. However, I could trim it in a way to where it really does look like an island. If you can visualize the sand as water, you'll see where I'm coming from. So now that the tank was starting to fill up, I took this opportunity to start buffering the RO water. As most of you probably know, RO water is so pure it lacks a lot of the essential minerals found in tap water. So, to compensate for that, I added a powdered product called Seachem Equilibrium. This product remineralizes the water and makes it suitable for fish and aquatic plants. Finally, it was time to start planting. I started with Myro Green in the back left-hand corner of the tank, then Nisea Golden in front, followed by Mania gracilis, Crypt ponderfolia, and Crypt lutea. For the right side of the tank, I used Stratagem repens, Anubias nana petite, and Dwarf baby tears. I chose to plant these foreground plants here because the filter intake is on this side. Tall stem plants would constantly be sucked into the intake, or worse, clog it, making the filter work harder, thus damaging it. So, foreground plants were the way to go. For the Riccia island, I chose to leave the plant on the stainless steel mesh it was grown on. This made it much easier to position in between the pond pebbles and prevent it from floating. If I didn't do this, I would have to tie the plant to the rocks with fishing line or thread, and I found that to be messy, and not to mention, I didn't have either of those materials. The stainless steel mesh will never rust or decay, so it will be perfectly fine being left in the tank. Next, it was time to hook up the CO2 system. The great company Aquatech generously provided me with their beautiful premium regulator. It was a snap to install, and I expect it to last for many years, as my other Aquatech regulator has. I'd also like to mention that Aquatech recently started offering CO2-proof tubing on their website, which is what I use for my system. It's much better than traditional airline tubing because there are no microscopic pores in it, readily found in standard tubing. So no CO2 will be leaking from my system at all. To diffuse the CO2, I purchased another atomic inline diffuser from Greenleaf Aquariums. I love this diffuser because it works inline with my filtration system and doesn't interrupt flow from my canister filter. I most likely will now use strictly these diffusers instead of reactors because they're much easier to install and do not take up a lot of space. Last but not least, it was time to add the final product to the tank, nitrifying bacteria. I chose Fritz Aquatics Fritzzyme because it was such highly recommended by so many hobbyists I've met and talked to online. The reviews about it on Amazon I think can prove how great this product really is. I'm also told that this company was the first and original seller of this type of product, nitrifying bacteria that is. Okay, now it's time for the big reveal. Are you ready? Okay, let's see the tank. Wow. Take a look at this. I think it looks awesome. And eventually, when the plants grow in, I think it's just going to look even more awesome. I'm so excited for the future for this aquarium. Thinking back to the beginning of this build and how nervous I was using 2 different substrates, I can now say that it really wasn't that bad. My plan to use pond pebbles as the border between both substrates worked beautifully, and the plant selection I think looks great. I feel so accomplished to have done a tank on this scale. Way before I even thought of doing an aquascape like this, I used to watch videos on Takashi Amano's YouTube channel and think I could never do that, but today I feel like I have. And although my tank may not look as lavish as one of Mr. Amano's, I can say that I am very satisfied, and this aquascape was exactly what I envisioned. I'd like to end this video by dedicating this new tank of mine to Takashi Amano. His passion for this hobby has definitely inspired many hobbyists worldwide, including myself, to venture away from the traditional fish tank and create beautiful underwater worlds. Without Mr. Amano's hard work and dedication to this hobby, I don't think this aquascape of mine would have been possible. I've learned so much from his work, and a lot of the success I've had in the aquarium industry I credit to Mr. Amano. We really have a lot to thank him for. Many of the techniques and equipment we use in our tanks wouldn't have been possible without him. So, rest in peace, Mr. Amano. You are gone, but never forgotten. Your passion will live on in the hearts of hobbyists worldwide, including myself, and continue to keep the hobby you had a hand in creating strong. Thank you so much for watching this historic video here on Jacob's Aquarium, and stay tuned for future updates on this planted tank, of course the pond, and also educational videos teaching you how to be a better planted tank hobbyist. I love you guys so much, and thank you once again for supporting Jacob's Aquarium, and also giving me the great honor of having you as my customer on jacobsaquarium.com. Thank you Castro as well and Aquatech for their generous support for this new tank build of mine. And also without them, this wouldn't have been possible. So thank you everyone, I really appreciate it. It means so much to me that you come back time after time to watch my videos, give them a like, and also a nice comment. I love hearing from you guys. I love talking to you guys in the comment section. It's just a lot of fun being a YouTuber and making videos about this amazing hobby. So have fun with your tanks, everybody, and I will see you next time.